Hello, 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 folks. Here I am again. I'm Dr. Timothy Hart, pastor and founder of the Church of the Ascended Christ. It has been a trying week. I'm sure it has for many of us. And um, I can say with certainty that in this town, there are challenges galore. I've been born here in this town and pretty much raised here. The environment wasn't conducive to growing up and being a man, except if you were a follower kind of guy. That I found out early I was never going to be. And I did some traveling, lived numerous places, and I found that there is so much to learn. In becoming a man, it is not as simple as getting three squares a day and having someone to tell you what to do at every turn. There are a series of things, challenges that a man must go through, a young boy must go through, in order to become a man. And I'm not ashamed to tell you that there have been some fights recently that I decided I was not going to participate in. And the reason I was not going to participate in them is because I found it pointless. I found it pointless to get involved with it. Y'all excuse me, I'm kind of testing volume and stuff here. Make sure you can all hear me. It's because I found it pointless. Okay. There are some fights that are pointless to get involved in. And they're pointless because the people or the entities that are engaged are comfortable doing what they do, and understanding the point of an engagement, a fight, a battle, is to determine either a winner or to establish relationship. Now that might sound kind of far-fetched, but let me say this to you. Some of the greatest people in your life are people that you've had a tough time with. Oftentimes we find ourselves opposing each other until we realize we're fighting the same fight. And if you're fighting the same fight, then your energy should be directed toward defeating your enemy. I'm sure I'm not the first and the only one to say that our people are in a perpetual state of slavery. What you mean, Bishop? I'm going to tell you in a minute. There are bigger dynamics in slavery than just somebody telling you what to do and you not having any liberty. There's also the idea that whatever they give you, you become comfortable and accustomed to receiving. Y'all didn't hear what I said now. One of the hallmarks of slavery, and I'm going to say this, a good ninja is the one who accepts the master's food, who accepts the master's quarters, who accepts the idea that I'm going to be working from come see morning to come see night. I'm going to accept the fact that I may get shipped off, my family may be sold, and I'm good with that. That's the hallmark of a good ninja. Well, I'm going to say some stuff today, and I know it's going to be controversial. We have a lot of organizations that are operating and active around our people. Now, the mark of a good organization is an organization that, one, fulfills its own objectives. Now, that might sound kind of selfish, but let me establish my point. In order for you as an individual to accomplish anything in relation to someone else, you got to have a plan for your own operation. And hopefully, that operation is to fulfill the need of whoever you're supposed to be working for. Now, I'm okay with people giving stuff away. I don't want any, I can't say I don't want you to because you're going to think what you want anyway. But I wouldn't want you to think for 1 minute that I am not for getting something as a bonus. Okay? I'm not against anybody receiving something to take care of a need. I'm not against that at all. But at some point, the person who's giving you this stuff, at some point, you got to question their motives. Why are you giving me this? And then it seems that everybody wants to give you something as a way of making themselves look like something. The proverbial basketball court in a community that plays tennis or vice versa. You don't play tennis. Why are they putting a basketball? Why are they putting a tennis court in your neighborhood? So that they can say they've done something. So they're using your need as a way to prop themselves up. Now, I have to stand on the truth here. I am an officer of the church. But we got some problems. One of the problems we have is that when someone says something about us, there's only two ways we take it. Either we fight vehemently against it and start getting all negative about it and then start preaching whole sermons against that thing, or we'll be in complete denial. Pretend it wasn't even said. And I'm here to say that there's a lot that's been preached that's not Bible. There's a lot of stuff that's been preached that ain't even righteous. But if you're not in this vein, you don't know what I'm talking about. I can go down that list, but let's stay with this as a premise. If we used the construct of Christ coming into our lives and saving us as the vehicle and the motive and the mode, let's talk about what Jesus came to do. And it's all good. He came down and showed us an example of how to live and how to be. He also showed us what that relationship that a man having with God it looks like so that you could emulate it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But here's the challenge. The challenge is if you make an icon out of Jesus, you're not going to get his message. You're not hearing me. If you create a whole situation around Jesus as the central focus, you're going to miss his point. See, I need you to do what I tell you so that I can give you something that's going to help you. Because if I stop giving it, y'all not listening to me. See, this is we have trouble in relationships for just this reason. We do things and we don't give the point. The point of Jesus coming was to make us righteous. Because for 42 generations, people have been doing things against us. We have been allowed to perpetuate the same crimes against ourselves, against humanity, against the world. And so Jesus comes to give you the way to get to righteousness, give you the truth so that you can establish righteous thought patterns, show you the life so that you can be better. Y'all not hearing what I'm saying. And a whole lot of folk don't want, because y'all want the hoopla. Y'all want somebody to shout and spit and foam at the mouth and do all this other stuff. But it's time out for that now. We see how the government is operating. Come on, y'all, stop. And we as a people are missing it. We're missing it at the giveaway. We're missing it at the welfare place. We're missing it because we haven't gotten it in our heads that everything we need as a people we already have. But you don't love each other. That's why you won't see it. So let's talk about today. Let's talk about 5 traits of good people. Can we do that? Okay. Now, if you have your Bible in front of you, and because I realize that many of you who are my friends claim Christianity as your your base, and you go to the Baptist, the Pentecostal, the Word Church, y'all go all them places. So I'm going to bring this to you from the book you read every day, or say you read every day. First of all, I have to say this right here. Me and my brothers get together regularly, and yesterday we were having a conversation, and the conversation went a little like this: how do you know a man to be educated? Now, there's there are questions that we never ask, and I never answer. What is it that makes you know that a person's educated? Okay. And we arrived at these things as a conclusion. Number one, when they talk, you can hear the knowledge base. Okay, well, we're good. When you talk to other people about them, they recognize that they've had the experience of sitting in the classroom, going to a college or whatever. The final way you know is by their behavior. Now, I don't know why behavior is a bad word among us saved folk, but let me say this to you. The Bible tells us clearly that a tree is known by the fruit it bears. Don't don't try to sneak the seed in the ground and tell me it's a peach when I'll just wait and I'll see the bark on the tree. I can tell when it starts to fruit, when it starts to bear fruit. Then I'll know. So let's stop playing with this and realize that many of the things that happen in our lives happen because we lie to ourselves, and we perpetuate the lie when we get in front of people. Y'all not hearing what I'm saying. You're confessing and professing things, and your behavior not lining up with that. And so whenever the challenge comes down that street that your skill set was supposed to deal with, you can't handle it. So let's talk about 5 traits of good people, shall we? Let's start from the bottom. Number 5. We're going to count backwards to 1. Perseverance in good and doing good. Y'all not hearing what I'm saying. Come on now. See, there are people, and we know them, that preface what they do for you based on your relationship with them. And if they don't like you, they're gonna stop doing good for you. Y'all, this is how we do. Because you're part of a group of people that are doing things I don't agree with, I'm not gonna do things for you. Y'all not hearing me now? Come on. Inside the domestic situation, we got folks that's sleeping on the couch. Why? Because my behavior, because I done something, that means that I don't get to go into my own bedroom. Wait a minute. How about the kids? The kids do something you don't like, and you're taking stuff from them, and you're restricting their liberty. Many times, understanding that doing good, it blesses both parties. Y'all not hearing me. See that when we get to number one, you'll see what I'm talking about. The Bible tells us, Galatians, y'all write this down, Galatians 6 and 9, it says, let us not become weary in doing good. For at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Now that's in the New International Version. Well, let's talk about the King James Version. It says, don't be weary in well doing, for in due season you will reap if you faint not. See, you got to do good for the sake of good. Now, here's the reality. If you do good, then somebody's going to get a collateral blessing. If you got hate in your heart, you'll stop doing good. And the ones who are supposed to get blessed won't get it, and neither will those who get a collateral blessing. And then you won't get it. See? When the Bible tells us to give, we equate giving to our pocketbook. This is why we don't get it. Giving is an act of benevolence. Benevolence is one of the hallmarks of God. If you are a giver, then you're acting like God. And if you're acting like God, godly things happen. And God doesn't take things back from you. So when people talk about God took my family member, God didn't take your family member. Sin took your family member. Y'all not hearing what I'm saying. What you talking about, Bishop? My parents, they died of cancer. Well, guess what? Cancer's in this environment. Sin is in this environment. The Bible tells us that the wages of sin bring death. So, if you are walking in righteousness, and I mean God's righteousness, not just the book, God has healing virtue and power in his essence. If you and him connected, the Bible tells us that he's the Lord thy God that healeth continually. Then it says what? That is God's will for us to prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. So as your soul prospers, your body prospers. So if your body is sick, your soul and your body, they disconnected. Something's not happening. Well, that sounds very esoteric. Let me keep it moving. People who do good always do good, or as often as you know them, they're doing good. So do I classify as good? No. For the general sense of the word. Because there's sometimes when I don't do good. Okay? Y'all don't hear what I'm saying. And in order to make that, we all have to be transparent. Because I'm not asking you to follow me. I'm asking you to listen to this word that God is trying to give to you through me so that you can be better. I might fall short, but you can still make it. Okay? How many times have I seen someone doing something they ain't have no business and put my opinion out there? I've done that tons of times. And then there's sometimes we try to justify the judgment by what we know who we are. I can do that because I got the knowledge. No, you can't. There's nowhere in the Bible that tell you that offering your opinion overrides God's law. And that's all you got is an opinion because you're a being that came out of something. You didn't create yourself. You haven't established any laws. God did all of that. So God's opinion is what matters in this case and in every case. So what we should be doing is trying to align our opinion with his opinion. So if you can't say nothing good, you need to be quiet. Be quiet in your spirit as well. Number four, good people are honest. They speak truthfully and act with integrity. Now, y'all listen to me carefully. In order for you to speak truthfully, you got to be immersed in truth, not facts. Not facts. Listen here carefully now. Two men come from the same region. Let's just, I'm using that as an example. Two men come from the same region, right? It's 25 degrees outside. Those two men go outside. One of them, he bundled all up, got a hat on, the muffler, gloves. The other guy got on a plain little jacket, a little, maybe a bomber, and a, maybe a Scully. Who's right and who's wrong here? One of them would say, "Oh man, it's blistering cold." The other one said, "Oh, it's okay, it's cool out here." Truth or facts? So who do we go to if we want to know the truth? That's why they have a measuring thing called a thermometer. Anything lower than 32 degrees is cold. It is cold. In fact, anything lower than your body temperature can be cold. If I'm 98.6 and it's 70 outside, it's cool outside. Y'all not hearing what I'm saying. So you have to get on a measuring stick that tells you the actual truth. And the truth is, the mercury on the thermometer determines if it's cold or not the two people who are participating in it. So you can get involved in something and you not like the way things are going. Does it make it bad? No, it just makes it something you don't like. So you speak honestly. Don't lie to people. Don't be passive aggressive. Don't be throwing shade. Don't be doing all this other stuff. Just be honest. I don't like this, but you know what? For the sake of this group that I am in alignment with, I'm going to see what else I can do. Or if I do nothing at all. Or I'm going to participate even though I don't like the way y'all doing it. See, this is why we have trouble in, like I say, it goes back to that one thing. We keep having trouble in relationships because the people can't make that distinction. Husbands have a role, wives have a role. Ladies, nobody's trying to take anything from you. But here's the actual truth. Masculinity trumps femininity. It does. Why? Because masculinity protects it. Okay? Masculinity protects femininity. So if you, who is feminine, want to be in charge, just know that you're outside of the realm of your protection. And so if a man tells you to get in line, then you need to honor and respect that and get in line. Does that mean he's oppressing you? No, that means he protecting you. And I don't know if there's any guys watching this, but I know this right here. If you have children, there's a reason you lock the door when you come inside, and you tell your children stay in the house. You tell them to stay in the house because you know that if they go outside, if they're out of your sight, there's the possibility that they can getting hurt. So you keep them in the realm of your protection, which means sometimes you got to lock it down. So Proverbs 12:22 says, "The Lord detests lying lips." Y'all not hearing me? The Lord detests lying lips. But he who delights in people who are trustworthy. He delights in people who are trustworthy. He delights in people that are trustworthy. Are you trustworthy today? Are you worthy of the trust? Now, understand, there's a difference between respect and trust. I respect you. That's external. But do I trust you? That's internal. So many people don't get the respect that they think they're entitled to because those people they want to respect them can't trust them. Number three, humility. Now, there is a false humility. Y'all want to hear it? And y'all Christians, we Christians now. Y'all saved folk. Okay, let me tell you what that looks like. Every time you do something and something good happens, oh, it's only by the grace of God. How many times have you heard that one? Well, here's a news flash. The grace of God extends only until you obey what God told you to do. If he told you to do it, he have to. But it was you who did the work. Okay? Because if it was the grace of God, he wouldn't need you. If it was just God himself, he wouldn't need you. He wouldn't have empowered you to do it. He wants you to get the props. So you obey him, you get the props. Oh, it's only by the grace of God. Oh, we know that God's grace allowed you to do it. But the point is, you did the obedience part. God didn't make you obey. That would violate your will if you know anything about God. So, Philippians chapter 2, verse 3 says, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Don't do anything based on. Now, I gotta stop here for a minute. Stop on the shoulder. There's a challenge that we have as people, and more so of our people. There's a time when you start doing things for people. There's a time you start doing things for people, and you give them instruction or give them advice or whatever way you want to go with it. Sometimes it's instruction, sometimes it's advice. And you see that the person's not following your advice. And they come back to you with the same problem after the advice. The second time, now you got to give them some real hardcore instruction. And it might sound a little like this. I told you last time you was here what you needed to do. Let me show you how to do this. And you give you a demonstration. Try to keep it pushing. And the person says, okay, I got it. Thanks, OG. Thanks, dude. Thanks, brother. Thanks, sister. Thank you. And they leave you and don't do it. And they come back to you crying the blues, got the poem off again. And you start saying, is there something wrong with you? Now you're judging. You hit judgmental. You hit the judgmental stage then. See, you went from advice to instruction to judgment. On the third level, at first you cared about the person. Okay? Got genuinely concerned, empathy kicks in, I'm gonna give you this advice. Second thing is you care about them a little less as your friend and you make a student out of them. On the third level, you really pretty much got to make a slave out. No, you just do what I tell you. You just do what I say. That kind of selfishness, it creeps up on you. See? There's all kinds of selfishness. There's selfishness where I got to have it all, which is greed. There's alpha selfishness where I just want it for the sake of having it. That's another level of greed. I'm doing this because I'm who I am. That's vainglory. There's a whole bunch of levels of vainglory. Then there's, I know I'm gonna do this so I can get this promotion. I know, and I've been through it, and I'm hoping Apostle Andre will see this so he can get a good laugh. There are some people, and y'all know them. They sit next to the pastor. They done got they call to preach, and every day, every Sunday, they want to preach, 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 and they do all these things for the pastor so that one day they can get that opportunity. They'll be the first one the pastor call on. Y'all not hearing me? There's a whole lot of folk preaching right now, fame and fortune, want to perpetuate the family lineage. But listen, none of those reasons are the reasons you should preach. You should preach because God told you, and that alone. So if you have to, one day you may have to preach to your very family member. Don't believe it? Look at Samuel. That's how Samuel started his ministry. When he was born, after his mother prayed and prayed because she was barren, she finally gave birth to a child. Gave birth to a child, she gave it back to God, put it in Eli's house. Eli had some craziness going on with the sons he had. And God used Samuel to preach that first message to him. Listen, you need to get your house in order. What did God tell you? Yeah, well, God told you to tell me then. And the house ended up falling apart because he didn't listen to Samuel. So I'm telling you, at some point, if God is really calling you, you be aware that at some point you're going to have to preach to your own family, and it's not going to be a happy sight. I'm experiencing that right now, this moment. I don't care. I don't mind saying it. If I get a call from one, I get a call from seven. Okay, and you know what? At some point, I'm good with it. I'm good with it because now I don't have no hindrances to go and hiring God. I don't have no hindrance. Okay, because once you get your family out the way, you can, you're free to do whatever you need and want to do, and you don't have those opinions to hold you back. Love them to death, but guess what? They're there. I'm here. Let me be. Let me rejoice and be glad in it. Anyway, so in humility, he says what? Do nothing out of selfish ambition and vain deceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves. Now, I'm just feeling this. This is on my spirit real hard. I went somewhere yesterday, and they were doing a giveaway. This organization was doing a giveaway. Now, whether I thought the department was good or not, I had a couple of issues. Number one, I am so tired of people thinking they need to be somebody's savior. And then the, the front that they shows that you one step from being in the same line. Okay? If you portray yourself to be something, you need to be the epitome of that thing. Standing out there as a black man, guess what? I'm supposed to be benevolent. I need to look like somebody. Why? Because the first thing that anybody sees is my personal appearance. I'm outside the place smoking. I'm outside the place cursing. I'm outside the place, but I got the logo from the company, from the organization on my chest and on my hat and on my back. Just because somebody willing to do it don't mean you should let them. And then when you get them inside, we went inside, and you had one or two people, they sit up there frowning, like, I got to give this stuff out. And then wonder why these people who come for the stuff feel apprehensive, feel some kind of way, because you got that spirit going in the midst of the place. You're supposed listen. When you give somebody something or do something for somebody, you need to show them the joy of giving. Show them the joy of giving. Bible tell you that God love what kind of giver? I was watching a video one time of this guy from Africa, and during the offering, this guy was dancing like he won the lottery. jumping around, rolling, doing all kinds of stuff, feeling good. Then he drops his money in the offering, drops his envelope in the tithing box, and he keeps dancing. If you don't do it physically, you should have that kind of joy inside. Be glad to give God something back because of what he's done for you. You living and breathing right now because he set up that system and let you participate in it, protecting you from the enemy. But you know what? We keep letting the enemy in. God gave us everything. The Bible tells us we have everything that pertains to life and godliness. Why are you still acting a fool? Still eating the trash? Still listening to these people who are way outside of your culture norm? Okay? There's a reason why people of color ate the way they ate in Africa. Because that was conducive to our what? Our physical structure. You trying to eat white potatoes. You're trying to load up on pasta. You eating ramen noodles. Come on, people. Anyway, let me keep it pushing. Good people show kindness all the time and compassion. Okay? Compassion don't mean I feel sorry for you. Compassion says I feel you. That's where that term comes from. I feel you. Okay? And you say inside your heart and mind, it must be tough for you to be in that situation. Now, I'm going to say this, and I'm hoping that there's some folks that get it. There are some people that are homeless because they refuse to go home. Y'all not hearing me? There are three kinds of homeless people. There are people who don't have a home. That's one level. I don't have nowhere to go. There's the kind that had a home, didn't do right, ended up leaving it. Then there's here's the last and final kind. The kind of person that some calamity caused them to be outside of their home. That person is not homeless if that person is displaced. When they get with the resources to rebuild, they'll be back in their home again. See, they still got inside the home mentality. Okay? But a person who doesn't have anywhere to go got to make their bed anywhere. Okay? Now, there are some things that you're doing that can cause you to be that way. If you keep on listening to people who don't care about you, you may end up that way. Okay? Which is why, as Christians, we need to come up. We need to come up. Nobody in the church should be unemployed. Nobody in the church should be hungry or homeless. Period. Not with all of this money that's going through, but oh, wait a minute. The church is a business. 501c3, corporate charter, deacon manager and all the finances. Okay, I get that. I get that. But at what point do you start really caring about the people of God in every way? Sermons don't fill bellies. Sermons don't help people manage when the child is being wayward. How about this? When the two are not getting along, you got that sermon on the mount, but these people need to be ministered to in a particular way. Where are you then? See, I'm just at the point now where, and this is the message I'm sending out to all people. You can come on and we can build together, or you can stay out there. I love you to death, and I love you so much. I'm gonna let you have your way. Let you have your way. God letting you have your way. Okay. When you decide you want to turn around and get back to God, I can show you how to get there. Okay. I can show you how to take your resources and do a bunch of stuff with it. And one thing I realize is that some of us are without the funds and without the things so that we can stay humble. So when God finally makes his provision, we got a reason to shout. There's a whole lot of folks that it ain't working for them right now. It ain't working for them right now. And they're going somewhere looking for a salary. The church giving them salaries. Okay, fine. But at the end of the day, don't go down the street, drive down the street acting like you so superior, because you're not. Now, the number one thing that all good people are. Y'all ready for this? All right. Good people demonstrate love for God and others. Now, love comes in quite a few forms. So let me touch on a few of them before we wrap this up. Since I'm a man, I want to talk about brotherhood. Can I do that for a minute, y'all? All right, thank you. Brotherhood is a phenomenal situation, relationship, because it is a group of leaders who have recognized that each one of them has a particular trait and skill that they can offer to the whole. The late Kevin Samuels brought this to the attention of many others. There's a show called Bear Grylls Island Survivors. And what they did was they took a group of men and they took a group of women and they separated them on this island. And they put them out there with nothing to see how they would fare. Okay. Within the week, the men had shelters up. The men had wood for the fires. The men had the person who was the good fisherman fishing, and the one who understood plants gathering food. Very organized and precise. At the end of the same week, the women still sleeping under big leaves, still trying to figure out how to make a fire, still trying to figure out how to fish, still trying to figure out what foods were what. And you know what? There was somebody would come up with something and the other one would they would bicker and argue and they would end up without anything. So after a whole week, no production, but the men already established. So what am I saying? I'm saying that men, if we come together, with the problems that plague our world right now would probably go away. And I'm no, I ain't gonna say probably. It would. It would go away. But since we can't get together. We lie to each other in organizations. Oh, I'm gonna be there. I promise to be at the meeting. Don't show up. What excuse you got for not showing up for your brother? First, especially when you promised that you would show up for him. Okay? It is what it is. You say you love your brother. What problem you got sharing stuff with him? Okay, it's good to give him a ride home, but wait a minute, hold it. What if that person really needed something? I mean, really needed something. Would you be available? See, I have this challenge right here. Okay? I watch how people act before I get involved with them. And if you're the kind of person that late for work, if you're the kind of person that think it's I'll just show up when I show up, I'm gonna deal with you with a long handled spoon. You know why? Because I won't be able to trust you. If another brother was in trouble and I called you and said, "Come on, man, let's go take care of them," what would you be doing? And what would you tell me? See? You think respect is something that you get just because you who you think you are? No, you got to develop a trust. And we see stuff before we hear stuff. And you're walking down the street acting like a clown. How long you think it's gonna be if I get in a relationship with you that you're gonna clown around me? I'm not gonna take that chance dealing with somebody else's life. I'm just sorry. Okay. So let's talk about the female dynamic. Females are so busy competing with each other. And the first lie they want to tell, I drew for me. Why? Why do you require that? You require that because you're living into the social lie that it's the image that brings a man. No, it's not. I hate to tell you that. Men are thinking about longevity, and you're getting it straight from the horse's mouth. We're thinking about longevity. Okay, if I'm still in my childbearing years, and I got money, and I got a business up, and I got this thing going on, the kind of woman that I'm looking for is a woman that I can trust with my children, a woman that I can trust not to steal from me, a woman that I can trust with an honor code, a woman that would be modest and not put herself in a position to get disrespected. Don't bring trouble to my doorstep. Don't bring trouble inside my house. That's what a man's looking for. Now that stuff on the outside, that's gravy. Okay. But if he makes the choice then the look need to fit the fashion. If he thought you was a good person because he does or what he saw, you need to be the good person that he actually saw. That's one reason I'm not on TikTok right now. I'm just gonna say it. I was on TikTok and I was at that point where I was starting to generate followers and all that kind of stuff. My likes were up, all that kind of stuff. And I went into a room and this woman was talking about how older men, the black men need to do something against white supremacy. Well, the first thing we need to do is get you to shut up, get you to be quiet, because we'll take one step forward and you in your mouth will take it backwards. You don't want to you don't want to be compliant just for a moment. Just for a moment, that's all we need. Okay? We're not taking nothing away from your ability to fight. We're not taking nothing away from your intelligence. We're not taking nothing away from anything that you bring in. But this fight is for me. You need to stay back here. You know, what you talking about? What are we willing to sacrifice? Yeah, what you willing to sacrifice? You willing to be quiet for 5 minutes? And she just so mad. Oh, you guys are just every time you talk about doing something, y'all talk about yeah, because we're leaders. That's precisely why we do it. Because we have a mandate, and that mandate doesn't require you to do anything. And if we let you do it, we abdicate our responsibility. Let me sidetrack a little bit. There's if you're familiar with Deborah in the Bible, they call her a prophet, the prophet Deborah. She was a judge, and she was going to battle. There was a battle that had to be fought, and God had promised to hand the the enemy into their hands. So she calls Barak, and Barak says, "Oh no, I can't do it unless you go with me." So you know where I'm getting ready to go with that. This is what she said. She said, "Listen, God gave this thing to you. If I go, it's not your victory." Y'all not hearing what I'm saying? See, you go and kick the enemy's tail, and the enemy's going to say, "Oh, it was that woman." And God doesn't want the woman to be the hallmark of victory. He wants the man to be, so that the enemy can recognize that anytime you see a man from this village, you need to shut your mouth, shut down, sit down, do whatever you need to do, calm down, chill, back up, whatever. And so when our sisters realize that this is your situation, you're the one, yes, God is sending the message through you, but the fight not through you. The fight's through us. So we don't need you to help us with this fight. We need you to support the fight. And last I knew, if those of you who are in construction, the central pillar of the building is the strongest pillar. Okay? There are several others. Okay? Depending on the dimensions of the building. You'll have several pillars, but it's that central pillar that's the strongest. That's the woman. Okay? Are you listening to me? You're the central pillar. You fall apart, what the man gonna fall back on? The house will implode if the central pillar is not functioning. Okay? Or if the ground underneath the central pillar has not been prepared. So, woman, what we're trying to do is we're trying to protect you so that you can be what you need to be. And it has nothing to do with you running your mouth. Let me jump back on the track. So, how do you know a person is saved? You know a person is saved because they're living a righteous life. How do you know a person is good? Because they're producing good works. How do you know a person is kind? Because every time you see them, they're doing something nice for someone. How do you know a person's humble? You don't hear from them too often. They don't talk about themselves, they talk about others. They talk about good things. They always make sure that their accolades are not the thing that they lead with. They lead with their actions and attitude. Okay? How do you know a person's honest? You never hear them lie. They don't live a lie either. So, we can make a decision as to what kind of people we want to be. And because you can make that decision, I'm not going to be the one to interfere. But if you know like I know, you'll choose to be a good person. You will choose it. Okay? Because listen here, I'm going to say it. Getting locked up in you understanding that when you got locked up, you needed to change. That may be good, but it's only going to last so long. You need to decide that you're going to be good before you get locked up. Wait a minute. Having a bad relationship and ending up in divorce, or ended up separated, or ended up in a social battle because of the person you're with. You need to decide before you get in what kind of person you're going to be. And chances are, if you make that decision, you probably won't choose the situation you're in. Y'all not hearing what I'm saying? We all have that thing that we need to understand and bear. And because we have that situation that we need to understand and bear, I'm kind of sad today. And I'm kind of sad today because I can see the trajectory. I can see where things are heading. And I got my work to do. Like, if you're a listener, you got your work to do. And there's only going to be so many people that's going to be positively affected by your work. But the one thing I don't want to see is, I don't want to see us go down for nothing. Go down swinging, people. Okay? Because you still slaves, still taking stuff from people, still give me, give me, give me, got my hand out, and they offer you something, and that's something you don't realize that something is only temporary. The only thing that's permanent is you putting your skills to work for you. Then there's nobody to fire you but you. And if you lose the money, it ain't because of race, it ain't because of culture, it ain't because of a whole lot of stuff. It's because you need to get your skills together. Let us pray. Father, today is always a monumental one, and we're thankful that you've let us be part of it. You could have left us cold and in our beds. You could have caused us to be in the nursing home. You could have caused us to be in the funeral parlor, in the emergency room, but you've given us strength, and you've left your healing virtue here on this planet. You've also left your word, and you're still yet sending messengers to tell people what's going on and what needs to happen. The ultimate act of grace. Even though we clown and act a fool sometimes, you still are leaving us ways to get out. So, Father, I'm thankful today. I'm thankful today for the trials you're allowing me to face. Because I know one or two things is going to happen. Either you're going to empower me to get through it, or you're going to put me in a place that I can be calm, and whatever the problem is can go right by me. I'm grateful that you keep my cabinets full, that you keep the lights on, that you keep me strong. And Father, my prayer now is that you forgive all of our sins, especially those who want to hear from you. Help them to understand that there's more to this than just what they've heard. There's more written than just what they've read, and there's more going to happen than what they've experienced. Help them to be open in their mind, Lord. Help them to be open to hear and be willing to perform. Because it's going to require some work, and it's going to require them to put their shoulders to the wheel. It's going to require them to break some ties. It's just a lot of work. But guess what, Lord? Your grace is sufficient to help us who are willing to walk in righteousness to get through. And Father, we just like to thank you for the blessings you have bestowed. Those who have healed, those who have helped, whom you have shown the light and who are now walking in the light. Father, help your people to understand that judgmentalism is not the way, because they don't have any authority here. All they have is an opinion. And Father, I thank you for just showing me how to get closer and stay closer to you. And Father, when you do what you do, I'll be so careful to give your name the glory, honor, and praise it is rightfully entitled to. Because it's by the authority of your Son Jesus that I even have this ability to talk to you. And so, in all gratitude, I say thank you. Amen. All right, folks. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.